Hey, you. Mind if I step in? What am I doing here? Well, I came to see you, of course. I've been trying to get in touch with you all week, but couldn't seem to get a hold of you. You weren't answering my calls or my texts. You weren't even posting online like you usually do. I thought I might have done something wrong until our other friends mentioned they hadn't heard from you either. So, what's going on, girl? It's unlike you to go so long without reaching out. I was honestly starting to worry a little. So, being your best friend and all, I thought it was probably a good idea to come over and make sure you were okay. And with that, here I am. If you want your space, I'm happy to head back home and check in after a couple of days. But I knew I couldn't rest until I'd heard from you. So, what do you say? Can I come in? Thank you. Here, how about we sit down? No, don't worry about it. I can move a couple of things over to make some space. There we are. Oh, sure, I'd love a blanket. It is a little chilly in here. There. Much better. So, how have you been doing? Well, no, radio silence isn't generally a sign that everything is fine and dandy, but, I think it's still a worthwhile question to ask. Yeah, I see why you'd say that. You look a little drained. Have you been eating properly? Not sleeping well either, huh? I thought as much. I know how hard it can be to take care of yourself when you're going through something difficult. I brought you a couple of things. Nothing too fancy, just a book I thought you might like, some snacks, your favorite teas, and a couple of new ones to try. Oh, and this adorable jar of assorted candies that apparently have little puns written inside the wrappers. See, this one's chocolate mint, and it says, "You and I are mint to be." Okay. Oh, yeah? What does yours say? "A little treat for a lady so sweet." God, these are awful. But it is good to see you smiling again. And eating something, even if it is only candy. Do you want to tell me what's been going on? It's okay if you don't feel like sharing everything or anything at all if you're really not feeling up to it. I'm here for you regardless, but if you do feel like talking about it, even a little bit, I'm more than willing to hear you out. I see. I'm sorry, it's really tough. I'm not going to say that I know exactly how you feel, but I can try to understand. What you've been through, the way you're feeling, it's not okay at all. You're dealing with things that no one should ever have to. Don't worry about it. Well, why shouldn't I? You're my friend. I want to be able to help you through this. I know you always say you're fine and you've got it all under control, but It's just... Can I be honest for a minute? We've been friends for a good while now, and I've always known you to be such an independent woman. Almost too independent. I've never known you to ask for help with anything, no matter what it was. I mean, heck, even when you were moving into this place, I basically had to beg you to let me give you a hand. At first I couldn't understand it, but as we got closer and you started to open up a little more, it all started to make a lot more sense. Your reluctance to accept help, it wasn't pride or insecurity or arrogance. To me, it looked like, well, fear. Fear of having to need people again. Fear of being hurt when they inevitably let you down, just like you'd experienced so many times in the past. I mean, all that you went through back then, it taught you that people can't be trusted. And in turn, you resolved that no matter how hard things got, you would handle it all on your own rather than risk having others disappoint you. I'm not trying to lecture you, but tell me, am I on the right track? Thank you for sharing that. And don't get me wrong, you do a great job of handling things without any help. I'm somewhat amazed by everything you're able to tackle on your own. Of course I mean that. You're one of the strongest people I've ever met. With that being said, though, I also know that just because you carry it well doesn't mean the burden isn't heavy. You keep so much of that struggle inside. It must get pretty overwhelming sometimes. Is that what you've been feeling for the last little while? Oh, for a long time now. I can't imagine how hard that's been for you. But you know, it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to do life all by yourself. It's just too hard that way. I think that you, like everyone, might benefit from allowing someone to carry that weight with you. I know you felt alone a lot in the past. There's been times where you haven't had people around who've made an effort to be your support. Times when you've only had yourself to rely on. But if you take the time to look, I think you'll see that things are different now. You're not alone. Not anymore. There are people around you who see you, who know you, and who value and love you for all that you are. I mean, I know I do, and I'm far from the only one. Scary as it may be, it's okay to let people in. You're not failing by accepting help to deal with hard things. There's no shame in having someone to hold your hand when you're walking through a difficult season. It doesn't make you weak, it just makes you, well, human. And that's more than okay. What was that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I get it. I mean, you're afraid if you reach out too much, that if you're too open and honest, that you'll be too much of a burden. And then I'll quit on you because of it. Well, I can assure that won't happen. Because that's not how I see you. Hey, look at me. You are not a burden. You are a gift. a treasure and someone I feel so fortunate to have in my life. Your struggles aren't enough to scare me away. You mean far too much to me for that. Is that a tear? No. It's just, well, I can't remember the last time I saw you cry. Don't fight it, it's okay. You've been holding in a lot for a long time. I think it's only fair you started letting some of it out. Come in, bring it in. It's all right, I've got you. I'm not going anywhere. It's okay if you still feel uncomfortable accepting help, or if you still have a hard time opening up to people about what you're going through. These things don't change overnight, and everyone has their own journey. But once you start it, it'll gradually get easier. And when you do decide to let people know how best to support you, I think you'll be surprised by how willing they are to do just that. I mean, I know I am. What are you feeling now? A bit of relief? That's really good to hear. I know there's a lot to process. That chat was pretty heavy. How about we lighten things up? I've got the whole day free, and I'm committed to spending it cheering up my best gal pal. By the looks of this room, I'm guessing you haven't been out of the house a whole lot this week. Yeah, the lived-in pajamas and the blanket fort in the corner were a bit of a giveaway. In that case, how about I break you out of here? Just to grab some fresh air and have a change of scenery. Yeah, of course we can head downtown. It's been ages since we went to that great arcade near the bookstore, and I think you're well overdue for a fun night. But hey, before we go, I meant what I said earlier. I love you. I care about you. And I'm always here if you need to talk. Through the good times and the bad, I'm here for you. And I promise, I always will be.